Hello friends, welcome back to Belle's Library. I'm Heather and today I wanted to do some summer book recommendations for you guys. I love summer. It is my favorite season. I love just soaking in all of the sun. It makes me happy, it makes me feel good, it makes me energized. And I think for summer also, reading wise, like often I've been going to school for like way too many years trying to figure everything out, so often I have a little less going on in the summer so I can read more, and I don't know, and then reading's making me happy and I like to sit outside and read as well, so just love me some summerness. So we're actually gonna break this up and I'm gonna do a few videos. I adore reading romance in the summer, and so this first video we're going to talk about some romance and contemporary reads, and then I also kind of enjoy kind of a fast-paced thriller, or things that I feel like thrillers are often set either in the summer or in winter. Like they're very black and white there. I don't know, I guess I can think of a couple fall time ones. Anyways, I have some really good summer thrillers I'm going to be talking about in another video, and then also some fantasies that I think are great to read in the summer. So those other videos will be coming out shortly as well, but we're going to start with romance, and I've got a couple contemporary kind of books in here as well, a little bit of a mix between YA and adult, and yeah, I literally just want to reread all of these books because I'm just like, give me all the summer vibes. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it, but if you haven't already, please subscribe, and you can visit me on my Instagram and Goodreads and all that good stuff. I actually read quite a few of these last summer. I think that they were like perfect for reading in the summer, and they're just making me want to reread them so bad. Like, it's getting hotter. We're about to hit triple digits next week, and I know nobody's excited about that, and I won't be eventually, but the first one, I'm like, yes. 90s is like my ideal weather because I'm crazy and weird, and I just love it being summer and heat and hot. So yes, we are going to start with Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. I love road trip books during the summer. Road trip books are so much fun, and this is a road trip book in which Amy and her mom are going to move across the country, and Amy is tasked with bringing the family car across the country, but she's also very uncomfortable driving because she got into a bad accident, and so their neighbor Roger is coming along as well because he's going to go visit his dad over there. And so they're taking this cross-country road trip, and they decide to take a few detours along the way and see the country. I think this one's really fun too because it does have some fun, like that one's like an email. Sometimes they'll have like a receipt from where they went, or like they'll have, let's see, what is this? This is the states they went through and how they feel and the motto, and then they have these playlists of different music they're listening to on the way, and it was a really fun kind of YA contemporary romance between the two of them as they go across the United States. So I definitely have some buzzwords for summer books I enjoy. One of them definitely being like road trips. I love outdoors stuff, like camping and stuff like that, and then like beachy, tropical type stuff. All some really good vibes for me for the summer. So I definitely had to put in some Christina Lauren books, and The Unhoneymooners comes to mind like every time. I adore both of these books, so I also have Love and Other Words by them, and I think they both would be great for the summer. So we'll start with Love and Other Words because it's right here. This one we're following, oh, I can never remember names, Macy and Elliot, and you have like two timelines. So basically we're following Macy in present timeline, and she's kind of got this new career. She just moved into this new area, and she runs into Elliot, and her and Elliot, they're like their first loves, and they haven't seen each other for, I think it's like 11 years or something, and all these feelings start coming back, and they start meeting up, but Macy's engaged, and I want to say Elliot is in a relationship, but I think he breaks it off after he sees her again. But then we're also following when they're kids and they met, and basically Macy goes up to this summer like house and cabin, and so she'll spend like summers and like longer weekends when they have a holiday or something up at this house, and Elliot's there, and they just like create this friendship. I adored this. They also they both read a lot, so that's a big part of it, and as a book lover, I always enjoy kind of seeing some of that in my books. And they will like have a word of the day, which is kind of cute and fun, and they just, I don't know, I just melted and gushed over these characters. I also bawled my eyes out with this one, so this one is a crying one. And then this one's just a little bit more light and fun. We have Olive and Ethan. And Olive and Ethan are the maid of honor and best man at Olive's sister's wedding, and everybody gets food poisoning at the wedding except for them, and so they are going to fake date and go on the Hawaiian honeymoon that the bride and groom were supposed to go on. And I just loved it. I'm not a big fake dating trope person, but this did have a little bit of hate to love because the two of them don't get along at all, and so we had a little bit of that, and it was just like a Hawaiian vacation fun, and so that was super fun. And I felt like too there was actually some really good like family bits in there, and the family was supportive and kind of a part of the picture in a lot of ways as well. So moving into another YA, I have Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. So this is that camping outdoorsy kind of vibes that I enjoy, and this one we are following Zori and Lennon, and they were friends. This also has a little bit of a second chance romance, and then it's kind of almost hate to love. They basically were like best friends, and then they had a big falling out, and the two of them don't talk, and they kind of hate each other, and their friend groups end up going on this camping trip, and they don't realize that both of them are going as well, and then they end up getting stranded out on this camping trip, and it's just the two of them, and they have to like hike themselves back, and then obviously they kind of like reconnect, and it was just super fun and cute. I definitely really connected to the characters. When Lennon would talk about like camping and being outdoors, like I was just like yes. And Zori, she's very like planned and meticulous and like not always spontaneous, and I can kind of be like that, and so I felt connected to these characters in a lot of ways, and I just feel like it's a really fun one for the summer with the camping aspect, so definitely enjoyed that one. So moving into a contemporary, I don't actually own this one. I hope to get this one soon, but Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. I feel like this is a really good one for the summertime because I want to say it's summer in the book. It might not be because I guess the kids are still in school, but it's set like on the California coast, and so I don't know, it just gives me some of those beachy vibes, I guess. But our main character is basically aging out of the foster system. So she basically moves to the coast, and this house, this couple takes care of all of these foster kids, and they also homeschool them there, and occasionally they have a few people who have aged out of the foster system there to work and help them run the farm as well as help to school the children. And so it's kind of a story about her finding herself and dealing some of the traumatic things that happened that put her in the foster system, and working through some of her feelings. And there's a little bit of like a magical element because you have some like little ghosts on the farm, and then she just has this really cute connection with one of the kids that she's teaching, and you know, she just really wants to do well at it, and she just kind of joins into this. It's like a big family, and the foster kids, they have a lot of them, and then they always come back for the holidays and stuff, and so you definitely have kind of a found family aspect in there. Nina LaCour's writing is gorgeous and beautiful, and so I definitely would check that one out. And then we will throw in The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I honestly have no idea why this feels like summer to me, maybe because I read it during the summer, but just like, look at these colors. They feel like summer to me. And this is a really fun hate to love romance where we have two assistants to the two CEOs of this publishing company, and they like sit across from each other at their two different desks, and they just like loathe each other, and then maybe they don't. So this was such a fun read, and I want to just envelop myself back in this, but for some reason, I just want to read it in the summer. Romance is just perfect in the summer. I don't know why. It just is. It's great. Another one is Well Met by Jen DeLuca, and this one has some really fun Renaissance vibes. And so we have Emily here, and she ends up getting out of this bad relationship, and her sister calls, and she's been in like a really bad accident, and she can't really walk, and she needs to do physical therapy. And her sister has a young, I think she's in her like preteens, I want to say. She's like 12 or 13 or something. Basically, she needs some help taking care of her daughter, and so she moves in with her sister. And so Emily ends up having to volunteer for this Renaissance fair for the summer. It's 6 weekends out of the summer, and she's doing it so that April can be a part of the Renaissance fair, but she needs a parent chaperone there as well, and she is one of the bar wenches. So it's just a really fun romance that happens at the Renaissance fair between her and the guy who coordinates it, Simon, and they're a little, they don't like totally hit it off at first, but it's just super sweet and cute. And then we also have a little bit of Emily. She's kind of finding herself and where she wants to be in the world, because she did just get out of a relationship, and she had put so much into the relationship, she kind of lost herself. And so you do have a little bit of that, but the Renaissance fair vibes are just so fun, and it just like gives you all of the summerness. I don't know if you've ever been to a Renaissance fair, but they're really fun. But also, like, the way she explains this reminds me of like going to the fair. You're just like outside, there's like all these people around, you're sweaty, you're sticky, you're just like, oh, but then also you're really enjoying yourself because it's really fun. So I don't know if that makes sense, but Well Met, very fun. I feel like this next one is probably one that a lot of people would recommend, but Get a Life, Chloe Brown is the first book in the Brown Sisters trilogy. I haven't read the next two, but I'm sure they all would be really fun to read for the summer, but they're just really fun romances to just get into. Get a Life, Chloe Brown, we're following Chloe, and she has chronic pain from fibromyalgia, and basically one day she's like, I need to move out of my parents' house and I need to get a life because I am just like not doing anything. So she makes herself a Get a Life list, and she moves out, and she ends up getting the like apartment handyman to help her with some of the things on her list. And then, you know, romance ensues, and it's super fun and cute, and I adored it. And I think I'm going to be reading the next one in June, so I'm excited because that's coming up soon, or maybe it's already happening depending on when this video goes up. So yeah, very fun, very good romances. I definitely would check out. So the next 1/2 that I'm gonna recommend, well, okay, so Emily Henry's Beach Read I read last summer, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like one of my all-time favorite romance books, but I know that a lot of people have really enjoyed this book, and I think it is a good summer book, but it does have some deeper topics, so it's not like as light and fluffy. And we are following our main character. We have basically our main character ends up moving into her father's like summer home, and she's trying to write a book, and she has massive writer's block. And then she looks out the balcony, and her neighbor is somebody she went to college with, and he writes books as well, and they kind of have a little bit of a rivalry going, but they're both struggling to write their books. And so they decide to swap genres, and he's going to write a romance and she's going to write a literary fiction. And they are going to kind of teach each other things about their different genres and how to write them and such. But it definitely delves into a little bit as well with our main character's grief over her father passing, and some other topics, and some of the places they go for the outings are, you know, not easy to handle topics. I don't know why, I just like this one just kind of sat kind of in the middle for me. It was enjoyable, but it didn't like give me those extra feelings. I was just like, I love this, and I'm getting all tingly and, you know, gooey goggy about, I have no idea what that was. So, but I feel like so many people have gotten that way that it would be a really good one for most people, and I would still recommend checking it out. But I also picked up Emily Henry's new one for this summer, People We Meet on Vacation, and I'm really excited to get this one. So I haven't yet, but I feel like it's gonna be a great summer read. And this one we have Poppy and Alex, and they've been friends for a really long time, and every summer they go on vacation, and they have some feelings they just aren't telling each other about or talking about, and they have one last summer to see, like, maybe those feelings can come out and something can actually happen. So I have another contemporary. I think this is the only other contemporary on this list, but A Constellation of Roses by Miranda Acevedo. I think this one's a really fun, light, it's kind of magical realism book, but we are following our main character. She is, I want to say, like 16, and her mom keeps disappearing, and she tries to pretend like she can just take care of herself, but you know, the foster system kind of figures out what's going on, and they're like, okay, well, we actually found some aunts on your dad's side, and you can go move in with them, or you can go to jail, because she's been, you know, maybe not doing the great choices. So she's like, whatever, I'm gonna go move in with these aunts, and then I'll just like duck out eventually, right? So she goes and moves in with these aunts, and just, it's about kind of like forming this connection with the family there and trying to put down some roots that she just hasn't been able to put down. I still remember the ending of this though. It was just so sweet, and how they all came together, and then what the aunts did for her to help her. It was beautiful, and I loved it. Also, each of the members in the family, so we have two aunts and then her cousin and her, all have slight little gifts. So her aunt bakes things into pies that will help people with some of their ailments, like maybe a broken heart or something like that. And the main character, she can basically steal things without people noticing her at all. And so they each have like their own little fun gift. It's just something small, but it just adds a little extra magic to the story. This next book I'm going to talk about is kind of a romance, but it's kind of not a romance. It's more of, I guess, an established relationship. But I was thinking After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid would be a really good one. This one, we're basically following this couple. They've been together for like 10 years or something, and they just have realized that they don't feel like they're in love anymore. So they're like, okay, well, let's take a break for a year. So, and then we'll come back around in a year. We won't talk to each other. We won't communicate with each other. We're just going to take a year apart, and then we'll come back around and see what we think we want to do. And so it's kind of following them through that and through their feelings of this relationship, and exploring other options and seeing if they want to come back to each other or not. And I really enjoyed the family aspects of this. There's a lot of family in this one, and just exploring a relationship that has been together for a long time, because it brings in other challenges. You know, beginning relationship has its own challenges, but a relationship that's been established for a while also has some different challenges. So it's good to see some books that have that as well. And I mean, Taylor Jenkins Reid is amazing, and I love her, so I don't know that she can do very much wrong. I have a couple of her books that I would love to get to this summer, Forever Interrupted and Maybe in Another Life. I imagine that these would be really good for the summer as well. And I mean, look at these fun colors. Yes. And the last book is going to be a graphic novel. This one is Bloom, and it's a really fun graphic novel where we're on the beach, and our main character's parents have this bakery out of their home, and they have their son work in the bakery with them, and he's like, I don't want to do this. I am almost done with high school. I want to go out and try to make this work with my band. And so he's like, well, I have this great idea. Why don't we hire somebody, and we'll train him to work in the bakery to help you guys out so I can go and do this. And so they end up hiring the other main characters, sorry, I don't have the names in front of me, but the two of them start working together and he's training them, and then, you know, they got a little spark of romance happening, and it's super cute and sweet. And there's definitely some fun family elements in this one too. I didn't even realize that I grabbed so much of that. With the parents, and they're trying to figure out, you know, they love each other, but obviously have some different ideas for what they want going on. And it's a cute little graphic novel, but it is set in like a beachside town and kind of has some small town vibes too, and just very cute, very cute. So those are a bunch of fun romance and contemporary recommendations for you guys. If you've made it this far, throw a little heart emoji down below, or a sun, either or, because, you know, summer and romance. And be looking out for the next couple summer recommendations videos for some mysteries, thrillers, and some fantasy books. I will talk to you guys super soon. Bye!